Algebra 2, Worksheet 22.4. We're looking at number 4 right now. We were asked to use division to write this polynomial in factored form. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is a crazy problem. It looks insane, and it is a little bit, but there's a lot of things we can do to make it a little bit easier. We're given the graph here. You got this curve on. You got 1, 2, 3 x-intercepts, which gives us 3 of these roots. So the first thing, easy step we're going to do is just write these roots here. Negative 2, 0 is one of those. 1, 0, 5, 0. So our goal is to use these roots to get this whole thing factored. So we have a set of factors here to get these last two roots. Because you have these two roots here, one right there and one right there, where it's hitting the x-intercept or the x-axis, but we don't know exactly where those are. So that's our goal. Now the degree is easy. If we look at this non-factored form, we're just looking for the highest exponent on the x, which is the 5. So our degree is a 5. Now the factored form will start with these roots. Remember that when you have a root at negative 2, that means one of your factors will be x plus 2. Excuse me. Another factor is at positive 1, so we will have x minus 1. And then positive 5 gives us x minus 5. Now this 2 roots means we're going to have 2 more sets of parentheses, which I'm probably going to have to write down here. But there will be 2 more. Now the hard part is getting those 2 roots. Now I've written the equation down here on this paper, because I'm going to need more room to do all this division. The first thing I'm going to do is choose any one of these 3 to divide into this. I'm just going to go with the first one, x plus 2. So I'm going to set up the box. There's my x positive 2. There's the x plus 2. I'm dividing into all this. So I'm going to write this x to the 5th all the way over here, minus 5x to the 4th, minus 5x to the 3rd, plus 25x squared, plus 4x, minus 20. Now when I divide, this x to the 5th will start here, so I'm going to draw that down, which means this should be x to the 4th, because that times x is x to the 5th. And I'm going to go a little bit faster here. Times 2 is 2x to the 4th. Then, this needs to add up with the 2 to give negative 5, which is negative 7x to the 4th. That means this is negative 7x to the 3rd, times x to give that negative 7x to the 4th. Times 2 is negative 14x to the 3rd, which means this should add up with negative 14 to give us negative 5. That's positive 9x to the 3rd. Means this is 9x squared positive times x to give us that. 9x squared times the 2 is 18x squared. 7x squared, or sorry, yeah, 7x squared plus 18 is 25. So that means this is 7x times 2 is 14x minus 10 goes here because negative 10x plus 14x is 4x. Means this is negative 10, which means times that is negative 20, and that matches that, so that's a good division. That's what we want. Now, we divided by x plus 2, and that worked. We didn't have a remainder. That's exactly what we want to have happen. Now we've got to do this all over again. But this time we've already used x plus 2, so now we've got to choose either x minus 1 or x minus 5 to divide into this result. So we're taking x to the 4th minus 7x cubed plus 9x squared plus 7x. And yeah, I decided to do this in the morning, so I got the bells going, but that's alright, we can work with that. So I'm going to take again this result, and I'm going to divide that by one of the other roots, the x minus 1. So I have x negative 1 for x minus 1. Start the box, x to the 4th down here, minus 7x cubed plus 9x squared plus 7x minus 10. Oh boy, And you see how insane this is getting. We're already at 5 minutes. We're barely half done. So x to the fourth comes here, x to the third, negative x to the third, negative 6x to the third, because that will combine with negative 1 to give us negative 7, minus 6x squared times that is positive 6x squared, positive 3x, because that will add up with 6 to make the 9x squared, positive 3x up top here times x to give us 3x squared, negative 3x, 10x, because that will subtract 3 to get 7, positive 10 up here times negative 1 is negative 10. That matches, and that's good so far. So we've divided twice, and now we've got this result, x to the third minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 10. Are we done? No, we're not, because now we again still want to get these other two factors, and we don't have them yet. So now we have to take this and divide by this very last root, x minus 5. So now we're dividing by x minus 5. Look at all this amazingness outside. Now, one last box, x minus 5, and it should become a little bit easier once we get this done. X to the third minus 6x squared plus 3x plus 10. X to the third goes here, which means x squared is there, which means negative 5x squared is there. Whoops, squared. Minus x squared combines with negative 5 to give us negative 6x. Minus x times x is negative x squared plus 5x minus 2x, because that plus 5x is 3x. Minus 2 times negative 5 is 10. 10 matches 10. We are almost done. Now, if we look at what's left over, x squared minus x minus 2, that finally becomes something that is easier to factor. This is the old school version. This is either diamond or trial and error, however you learned it. X times x is the x squared. 2 times 1 is 2. So if you're doing the diamond, you have negative 2x squared, negative x, 2 and 1. 2 is negative, 1 is positive. They add to give you negative 1x. They multiply to give you negative 2x, which means this is minus 2 and plus 1. So after all of this, we went first and divided this by x plus 2, divided the result by x minus 1, divided that by result by x minus 5, got x squared minus x minus 2, factored that, got these last two factors, which means the last two factors are x minus 2 and x plus 1, which means our last two roots are the opposite of these, positive 2, negative 1, setting each equal to 0 and solving. And finally, you have your factored form and all 5 roots.